Eddie House, Kendrick Perkins, Amina Smith here with you. And it's up to get their 9th straight win out there tonight against the Pelicans, 117-109. And it was almost feeling like this Celtics team, they went out there and dominated this matchup from the very beginning. The Pelicans got back into it. But Perk, what was the most significant storyline to come out of this game?
How boring the game was, and it was real boring. And that's a great thing because, like, I don't even know if the Celtics broke a sweat tonight, and I'm saying that in the most humble way possible, but they're just that good. Like, at no point of the game from the start to the finish did I think the Pelicans even had a chance. And they did a great job on the road, not letting the fans get involved, not giving them no life. And every time they did make a comeback, the Celtics responded in great fashion. Jason Tatum struggled. Jaylen Brown, yeah, he was 10 for 20, but he struggled a little bit as well. But both of those guys flirted with a triple-double tonight and made others around them better and hit the glass.
The Pelicans came within 5 tonight, Eddie, and I'm not going to lie, I was not worried at all in this matchup that the Celtics would close this out.
Yeah, well, the thing is we are a better team than them, man. We are a deeper team, but when you look at it, you got to give credit to New Orleans because they did come out. They were scrappy. That's one thing we did know. They were going to play hard. They're going to get after it. You can't let your guard down. So they always made a push. And, again, finding ways to win. And it's not always on the back of your superstars. Derek White stepping up. Al Horford having a hell of a first quarter with 12 points, knocking down 4 threes. Just finding ways to win. And it doesn't matter how it is. Even with the bench getting outscored 39-15, they still found a way to win. So you got to give credit to this team. Give credit to Coach Joe Mazzulla. But at times I was thinking, man, he needs to call a timeout. But, again, showing trust. And that's the word we've been talking about a lot. Having trust in your guys that they'll be able to play through it and still pull it off.
And Jaylen Brown, just like you mentioned, Perk, not as efficient tonight, but finished with 26 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. Let's send out to Abby Chin, who caught up with him after the game.
Jaylen, 9 straight wins. Throughout this streak, you guys have said you just continue to find ways to win. What did you find tonight?
We played well in spots. We shot the ball great. Defensively, in the second half, we picked it up. We just played team basketball, made the right plays, and to let the game take care of itself.
You guys also able to maintain your poise. I mean, the Pelicans went on a few runs. How did you do that?
Just tried to stop the bleeding. You know, we got careless with the ball. I got careless with the ball. Some turnovers that led to them scoring in transition, but once we took good shots, took care of the ball, we made it hard for them to score in our half-court sets.
Is that something you are okay with because you're moving the ball so well?
No, we got to take care of the ball better, so I got to be better. You know, got the ball in my hands, and we found a win tonight, but we don't want it to cost us later, so that's something that we're looking at now.
Derek White stepping in at the point, had a huge game. How big has he been for you guys?
D. White, I love when D. White's aggressive. It's better for our team. He's a really good player, and when he finds that aggressiveness, it makes the game easier for everybody else. So D. White carried us tonight, and we got to find a win.
Jaylen, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Shout out to our producers for that lower third, that juice is better than smoothies, because it definitely was relevant tonight. Jaylen Brown being better than the Pelicans out there on the floor. But, Eddie, let's talk about Jaylen Brown. Just 10 of 20 from the field, but finished with those 26 points. How did he find different ways to impact this game?
He's a 3-level scorer. We know that. He could get the ball into the paint, finish at the rim. He can mid-range shot, and he can step behind the arc. But tonight, you know, he had 10 rebounds, which means he was engaged in the game, had 7 assists, finding his guys, finding players, not being selfish, super efficient. 10 for 20 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, just playing his game and being comfortable out there on the court. And that's when I think he's at his best, when he's not trying to do too much, when he doesn't have to do too much, and he can also rely on his teammates at the same time. But when it's time to go to work, he does go to work.
And let's bring in Scal, who's live down there in New Orleans. And Scal, you were courtside watching Jaylen Brown go to work in this matchup. Where was his presence felt the most in this game?
I think he picked his spots. You know, I think late in the game you could see the one time he attacked with Jason Tatum was getting double teamed, but Jaylen Brown had his moments where he was the best player on the floor. So, you know, I thought it was a very good team win today. You know, moving the basketball, Brown, Tatum, those guys just making the extra pass. Those guys completely trust their teammates. And, you know, I think Jaylen Brown, his play is becoming very consistent, especially him moving the basketball.
And Perk, when you take a look at how the Celtics are winning games, they're finding different ways to win these matchups. How has that been a big key for the Celtics to go on this 9-game win streak?
Well, it's just a testimony to their growth, right? Their growth and learning how to win games, learning how to weather the storm. And again, you got to keep going back to the depth because it's just every single night is somebody else stepping up. And I can applaud Grant. I can't give enough credit to Grant Williams, too, by the way. Like, Grant Williams, he does so much that doesn't show up in the stat sheet. He puts his body on the line night in and night out. He's always in the right place at the right time, staying inside of his body. But it's just the growth. Like, no one could have told me, I swear, no one could have told me that Jason Tatum was going to be 6 for 18 and the Celtics were going to walk in here tonight and basically cruise through this one and get a victory. But Amina, E-House, I do got a question.
Go ahead.
So I've been listening to Scal talk all night long, and I know you need rest, Mamba. I know you tired. I get that, right? But I just want to know, with all that talking and the talking now, do you make sure you keep some gum in your pocket, okay? Make sure you keep some gum in your pocket, boy, because I know that breath over there kicking right now, man. Coffee and everything. Keep some gum in your pocket, all right?
How are you going to do poor Scal? He's all the way down in New Orleans and they talk about your breath from all the way up here, Scal.
Wait a minute. He said it looked like your breath stank, though. He didn't say your breath stank. He said it just looked like your breath stank. Hey, Joe Mazzulla got some gum for him, though. We know that. Are you going to get a slice from him?
I got the gum. It's right in front of my broadcast booth. I'm going to sit there smacking my gum while I'm doing the game? All right. You know what, Perk? You smack gum when you do the game. How about we'll see how that works out for you.
Look, we don't need Scal smacking any type of gum during the game. But Scal, I do want to bring up something that you talked about during the broadcast. You said that the Celtics, they were playing in slow motion tonight in the best way possible. How does this game look like it's slowed down, not only for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but for the rest of the guys on this roster?
So ideally in the NBA, you get downhill, you draw two, and then right there, that's when the good offense starts. You start moving the basketball. Now, anybody can throw that ball around anytime or throw it to the first guy, but as that ball's moving around, they're reading the defense at a really high level. If the defense goes one way, they pump fake, they go to another. If that guy doesn't have a shot, he might one-touch it right to the corner. So right, you saw the amount of wide-open shots that the Celtics got. If you're watching this game, you're watching them shoot 30 wide-open threes with good shooters and wide-open shots and good decision makers. It's going to be hard to beat these guys unless, as you saw in the third quarter and sort of at the start of the fourth, the turnovers. So if they can take care of the basketball, they're going to be fine.
Yeah, you know, again, that's what the one thing that I was going to talk about is the third quarter. They did have turnovers, right? But if you think about it, their spacing was jacked off. You know what I mean? Like, they was messed up. Their spacing was horrible. Like, I think at the time, like, Lou Kornet was kind of in the way a lot. And sometimes it's great when he's setting screens and rolling, but then it's time where, you know, you need to space out and find spaces and let your guys go to work. I think we were operating in tight quarters. A few passes and fast break where nobody was running the lanes wide. They were kind of tight, trying to make close passes. So those are things that I feel like those turnovers could get cleaned up. Those weren't turnovers to where I look at them and be like, man, you know what? This team is just not playing too good and things like that. But what I did like is no matter what they did, even though they turned the ball over the way they did, they still was able to weather the storm. They still was able to win this ball game because last year they would have lost this game.
Can I ask y'all two a question?
Go ahead.
At what point? No. I just want to know, at what point in this game did y'all think the Celtics were going to lose? Because y'all pointing out this one. Okay, so why we even talking about the third quarter and those few turnovers that they had? It happens. It's a game of mistakes. What are we talking about? Right now, y'all just being petty and y'all just trying to find something. No, Eddie.
And that was the reason. That was the reason why they were turning it over. That was the reason why they turned it over.
Listen. At this point, it's nothing to find, man. They're playing beautiful basketball. It's going to happen. They got a great win. They coasted through this game tonight and still won. Jason Tatum didn't play well, the MVP candidate, and they still got the dub.
No,
let's not do this tonight, bro.
You got to look to clean things up,
too, man. It is nitpicky, but I mean, I will say nine turnovers, though, in the third quarter. Yeah. That is something that is significant to take a look at. Go ahead, real quick, Scal.
Eddie, just all you got to say, Celtics look real good. Carry on. That's it. You're good.
I'm going to leave it right there. Let's take a break here on Celtics Post Game Live and take a look at that final score, 117 to 109.